Welcome to the Elegance Of Nae podcast. I'm your host, Nae, and on this podcast, we talk about a variety of topics with amazing stories. Let's get into it, shall we? Welcome back to the Elegance Of Nae podcast. I'm your host, Nae, and we have someone new in the building today. We have the one and only Miss Leah Brown. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I'm really good. I'm good. How are you?
I've been good. Been living life as usual.
Yeah.
How are you mentally and physically today?
Ooh, that's a great question. Physically, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, honestly, physically, I feel great. Listen, if you don't take your vitamins, I'm telling you now, take your vitamins. Started taking vitamins over the holiday. Got some B12 in there. Got some vitamin D in there.
Mm-hmm.
Energy is like at a high. I feel wonderful. B12 and a nap, beautiful. Mentally, I feel like I'm pushing through mentally, in a good way, not in a bad way at all.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like there's a healthy amount of things on my plate right now. So
That's good.
yeah.
At least you notice that. 'Cause some
Mhm.
people don't notice, like, when there's certain amount of things on their plate, or try not to overlap things on their plate too.
Yeah,
So
yeah, definitely learning the balance of that. So
yeah,
starting fresh, but we're moving and grooving.
that's good. So what's been new with you? What's been going on?
Well, I am a preschool teacher now. It's pretty fun. I really enjoy it, honestly. I do. But of course, I'm still dancing, still acting here and there. Haven't booked like a big role or anything yet, but I'm just really now stepping into that space and learning that world of my industry. So really stepping into the space of learning about TV and film and commercial, tour and all those the business aspect of all of that, and learning how to really work with contracts and understanding what the proper rates should be. Should be heavy on the should be. So yeah, I'm really excited for what this year has to bring.
That's what's up. I am too. I feel like I've been doing so much last year to push up for this year, and I just can't wait for what God has in store for me. That's all I can say. Okay. So what's been so let's start from the beginning. Like, are you born and raised from Detroit?
I was born in Pontiac, but definitely raised my whole life in Detroit. Honestly, I really couldn't tell you I was born in Pontiac because we don't live nowhere near Pontiac. And even before I was born, my parents didn't live nowhere near Pontiac. They lived in downtown Detroit, and now we live on the west side. So I don't understand. But Pontiac. So yeah, born and raised essentially. Went to school here. I went to school downtown, preschool. It's called Herlong. Then after that, I went to private school. It was cool. It was interesting. Nice private Christian school.
How was that transition from you from public to like a private setting?
That was a culture shock. That was a huge culture shock. So mind you, I was in private school from preschool all the way up until 8th grade. So, preschool, I didn't really care or notice what was going on. It was preschool, but once we got to kindergarten, we're wearing, the little jumper dresses and ties and shit to school. Well, I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm cussing that. Okay. Just ties and stuff like that. Real schoolgirl stuff. And mind you, it was a Christian school. So, it was cool. We would have chapel and stuff. Definitely taught me a lot. And, my dad's a preacher too. So, it was definitely close to home. So it wasn't, anything like, I hate this. I don't want to be here. Like, no, it definitely felt comfortable for me. But boy, oh boy, got to high school. I went to Renaissance my freshman year and my junior year. Baby, I didn't know a thing about the world when I got there. It was, geez, Louise. Everybody was cussing so much. It was so, and that's really what shook me. It wasn't, any of the, younger kids, like, like high school kids, kissing in the corner or anything like that. That didn't faze me. It was the amount of cussing. Like, I was like, oh my God, it's so open and free. I could say anything I want to say and ain't nobody gonna check me.
Right.
Wow. So, yeah. It was an experience. Definitely had a little bit too much fun in my freshman year of high school. Fast forward to college. I was cool. You know, I kind of calmed down, figured things out, found my lane, found my people. So yeah, it was a transition, but we made it work for the
Yeah.
best.
So
Yeah.
how were you so when you were younger, were you more of a social butterfly or you more to yourself?
I was definitely more of a social butterfly when I was younger. I like to say a lot when I talk about like how my friend groups were and just like kind of how I am still now. I'm a friend group hopper. I never really had like one solid friend group. Like maybe like if I was with that friend group and somebody came up, they might think, oh yeah, she one of them. She be with them. But then if I go stand next to that group, people be like, oh no, she be with them. So it's like I just kind of float.
You knew it. You knew a little bit of everybody.
Yeah, I knew a little bit of everybody. And I'm still kind of like that now, but to a lesser extent.
Yeah.
I like my space now. I really like my space. Um, my friends really are pretty split up and like spread out. So it's pretty hard to like have things and have functions where I bring everybody together because it's like they don't all know each other. So this is awkward.
Yeah.
But you know, I like my space and I like my peace. So.
I think that comes with just adulthood.
Yeah, very much.
Because when we start to experience or learn how people really are in their emotions, it's like
literally
the trust levels be so different.
I do not want to be around you all day. I can't do it. Like
yeah.
Even with some of my closer friends, like from college, like you know, it's like we getting older, and I just don't know if this meshes very well.
Yeah, some people be here for a season. Some people aren't meant to be with you for the rest of your life. They just meant for that little season or that moment to teach you something, learn something from it, or yeah, for that brief minute. So
I'm definitely learning that lesson. And then it's like also too, I'm learning the lesson of like just patience when it comes to my relationships and my friendships, because it's like you might really think like that friendship that you had from however long ago was gonna last forever, and then boom, next thing you know, now it's just poof, it's gone, right? Like it never happened. And then you're thinking like, oh well, dang, I want to make a friend, or you look online or something and say it all the time, like comparison is really the thief of joy is comparison, right? So like, you know, we get online and, you know, we'll start to look at all these people post their little TikToks with their friends or whatever, and it's like, oh my god, like, or like that money long challenge right now with the nobody. Like you think like, oh man, where's my bestie? But you really got to be patient with these things. Like I met some people I'll say I really met these girls and got closer with them in summer of 2023 and going so strong. Like those are my babes. Ooh, hit the mic. Those are my babes for real. Like I love them down. They're my dance sisters, and just new friends. Like, and they feel like family. Like it feels like I'm with family when I'm around them. And it's like we haven't known each other for like years on years on years, but it's just like a genuine connection, you know? Like you find your people eventually. You just have to be patient and don't go out looking for them.
Yeah, so. And that's kind of like for me, when I had went to my church, I go to MCC. I ain't gonna say the full name because I don't want nobody being weird. Yeah. But I go to my church, and I remember the first day I came there, which was last year in December, and I came for the Christmas party. And it was, I didn't even know they were having a Christmas party because that was my first time coming there to ask about their church, see if I could join. And I always been wanting to go to their church. I always see their church, and I was like, let me just go and just ask, like, do they do baptizing? Because I was like, I had like my one-on-one with God last year. I was like, I really want to get baptized. I want to have a ladies' Bible study, all that. And I get there, and he was like, okay. So he guided me to that church. I had went in. It was like, yeah, we do it. And it come to find out, it was crazy. They was like, oh yeah, we're doing baptizing this Sunday. I was like, bet. I was like, okay. And ever since then, it felt like family ever since. Like that's being beautiful. There, they were so welcoming, and it's just been really dope being around all of them and being able to go there every Saturday, because normally I keep my Saturdays to myself strictly, but I love going there. It just helps set up, do whatever serving is needed, and then be there early, bright as day for Sunday service, to be there for both services. I literally enjoy myself. So
I love that.
Yeah, because
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's just because like I grew up with going to my old church. I ain't gonna say the name, but went to my old church, and it didn't feel like that wholesome church like family vibe. It felt more of a televisional church, like they just doing it for the TV or they doing it for the views, or it didn't feel wholesome. It didn't feel like we're here to worship. We're just here to be here, and you just talking. And also probably because I was young and I didn't know what I was in church for. I just knew we got food after, and I knew we had candy in the middle of it. So I was like, we're good. And so for me, I'm like, okay, but this time I'm like, I get to choose my own church as an adult. And I guess I was like, I like this.
It
so
feels
I was like, okay.
really good.
It feels different too. It feels good and different.
It honestly really feels really, really good. Like, a lot of people really think, usually, like when I tell them my dad's a preacher, they always think like I had this super strict, upcoming where it's like, oh, every single Sunday we're in church from 7 a.m. until 4 p.m. We not leaving until it's dark. And yeah, we going on Wednesday and we going on Saturday. We gonna be there for Thursday for choir rehearsal too.
Yeah.
But he really wasn't like that. Like, he definitely instilled a lot of principles into me, and like just like the understanding of having my own relationship with God. And I think that's really what it is. Like, he never made his relationship my relationship.
Yeah.
And neither did my mom. Like, they never forced it upon me
And that's good.
to do that. Like, once I really hit high school, it's like, yeah, you can be home by yourself. You dang near grown.
Yeah.
It was like, if I was having a day on Sunday and I'm like, I got a lot of homework, or mentally I'm really just not there, like I cannot today, they were like, okay, do what you gotta do. You can stay home, you can skip a couple of Sundays, it's okay. And it just feels good. Like, now, like as an adult, I don't really attend that church anymore, just because things happen with churches. Sometimes things get a little messy in the Baptist church. But me recognizing that for myself as an adult, and being able to make the choice to get up and go somewhere else, and still be able to worship, still be able to have my own relationship with God, it just feels really refreshing. And it's very pure.
Because it's your own, for one, regardless of the amount, as long as you're having that connection with him, that's what really matters. Whether you're in a church or not, if you praying on your own, it's still that connection is all that really matters to him, as long as you have it.
Literally.
And so it's like, yeah, I get it, because it's not easy staying in certain places if you feel like you're not moving.
Exactly.
And sometimes
that's a word.
Yeah, if you feel the urge, or if you feel like you're about to grow, or if you feel like God is shifting you, or you feel like you're getting closer to a goal he has out for you, and you feel it, but you're not moving, you're gonna feel uneasy, you're gonna feel uncomfortable, you're gonna feel on edge. And until you get that feeling of like, oh, I was meant to be here, you gonna know for sure, because you feel comfortable, just like friends. And that's kind of like going back, for me, as soon as I got out of my 34-year relationship last year, I met 2 new friends, and I literally just met them, but I felt comfortable like around them. And it come to find out they're very God-fearing people. And I was like, I've never felt this way about people ever in my life. Like, I never felt this comfortable around these people before, like just strangers, I would say. So I'm like, I don't know y'all, but I'm clearly comfortable enough, because the second time we met or seen each other, they gave me a ride home. And I was like, yeah, I'm definitely comfortable, because I don't let nobody just come take me to my house.
Literally.
Like, that's just I don't do that, because my mom installed in me safety stuff. Literally. Like, that's just not. But I was just like, God was telling me to trust them. Like, it was like that connection, like that purity, that wholesomeness. And ever since then, I've been healing, because that was a lot of healing I need to do. I'm still healing. I'm not gonna sound fully healed, but I've healed a lot. I definitely feel a lot better. I'm more at peace. I'm happier.
That's beautiful.
And I got a new person, so I'm good. But
I love that.
I got a new person. We ain't gonna talk about that. But it's like, it's just been better of being around certain people. Definitely rubs off on you, and it definitely makes you feel some type of way too.
Yeah. It's just like, sometimes you can really feel it. Like, excuse me, I'm not sure if everybody's this way, but I know for me, like, I'm heavy on like if the energy is off, I can't. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really sensitive to that. Like, if I walk into the room and I'm just, it's
All
too much
that
going
energy.
on.
Yeah.
Like, and it's crazy.
Tension.
One of my mentors literally said it last night at rehearsal. I don't remember what exactly we were talking about, but she said something along the lines of, when you get into these rooms, you know, if you get in there, just be aware. If it feels messy, it looks messy, it don't feel right, it ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't right.
Yeah.
You need to leave. You don't feel that way for no reason.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like your instincts telling you,
Exactly.
like, don't do
It's like a
that.
spidey sense if you really
Yeah.
think about it. Like, definitely. Like,
That.
if it looked like it stank, if it smells stank, it probably is stank, and you probably shouldn't go over there because you might get sick.
Yeah.
So maybe remove yourself. Be patient.
And think about it.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Don't rush into everything. Don't rush into every situation just out of the sake of, oh, I want to be around people. I want to feel love. But you have to understand what love is. You have to understand what love looks like for you personally. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's
and love goes in so many ways than one,
mm-hmm.
especially when you're. But one, of course, loving yourself is the biggest thing to do first. Because how you gonna love someone else if you can't love yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Like I know some people. I've done it myself where you love somebody so much, you've poured your heart out or poured your energy into that person, drained yourself like crazy, and as soon as you get out of it,
wow.
you heal it. And you learn to learn you and learn to love yourself.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's hard for some people. They don't even know who you be so fascinated in loving somebody else that you haven't even learned what loving yourself even feels like, seems like
and
you
then you
never
have to
even
learn to love
experienced
those
it.
versions of yourself. Like,
absolutely.
I remember, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be like totally transparent. Like, I did struggle with it for a while, like understanding what love was for myself. It's like I feel like I was really running off the same motor that I was running off of when I was like 17, 18, 19. And it's like, I have to understand, like, sometimes I have to remind myself, you're not that same girl.
Yeah.
Like, you're older, you're wiser, you've experienced different things now. So let's now put some more things into perspective. You move differently. You don't even think the same. Like, girl, we're not even gonna get into it.
Yeah.
But it's like, you change, you grow, you evolve, and you have to go with that. You have to shift with that. Just like in a marriage, like, you have people that have been married for like 65 years. They're not the same as they were when they first got married.
That's
I'm sure one of them probably got fat. Maybe one of them, they started arguing or something or whatever. But you have to figure out the new way to love at each stage. So it's not just with the other person, it's with yourself. And shout out to my man. He's helped me a lot to understand that part of it. I'm a love hard type of girl. And ever since, girl, oh my God, you just kind of swept me off my feet.
Leave certain parts part 2. We can't get too juicy now.
He done swept me off my feet. I love that man. But it's like, he's just like, I love really hard, and if you really mean a lot to me, if I really want you in my life, like, I'm on it,
Absolutely.
And sometimes it can be a lot. Sometimes it can be too much. And I've had, some friends tell me in the past, like, yeah, like, maybe tone it down a little bit, or, don't get so emotional just because you guys are having an argument, because it's like, it's okay. Like, he still loves you just as much as you love him. Like, y'all need some time apart. That's okay. But I on the floor, snot bubbles, crying, just oh my God. But I had to realize, and he helped me learn, like, it's not that, because he might not necessarily, be on the floor, snot bubbling, and I'll question it, be like, you don't feel the same way, and it's like, girl, first of all, shut your goofy ass up. Second, no, it's not that he doesn't feel the same way. It's just simply for the fact of, okay, understanding what the situation is, acknowledging that we need space, acknowledging that we need to breathe, think about it, come back when we're more rational,
and reiterate what's going on.
Exactly. And then understand ourselves. That's actually giving more power and value to you. Like that's helping
And
you
it's growth.
understand that you can. I know my emotions. I
Yeah.
understand my emotions. Let me calm down. That's a part of loving yourself. If I just were to go all hell break loose and just be depressed for however many days on end and I'm waking up angry every day, I'm doing more damage to myself.
Absolutely.
Like that's horrible.
Yeah.
But you claim to love yourself. So it's like, nah, it's like sometimes you really do have to,
And it comes with maturity too. Your maturity level, because I've learned that this past year, like I said, after leaving that relationship, it was a lot that transpired with that relationship. And once I left and focused on myself, I learned myself again. And I unlocked the door of more happiness that I ain't never felt before, never since. And that's within me and on the outside of me. And when I experienced that, and also getting closer to God through that whole experience, He's been helping me through all of that. And then in addition, also having those supportive friends that are helping you heal too. That plays a huge part, especially after you're going through something that damaged you.
Yeah.
Because if you have friends that are motivating you to get back with the person that just dragged you through the mud,
it's
then
like,
that
I don't
person
know how I
don't
feel
need to
about
be
you.
around you.
Yeah.
Because then they're toxic too. Because I'm like, I would never want to see my friend suffer through nothing. What make you think I want to, like, that's what having me really question a friendship? Because if you really want to see me get back with my ex, and you know we went through X, Y, and Z, what we doing? So
but see,
yeah.
and then see, that's why I just feel like personally, like there has to be like boundaries, right?
Absolutely.
And I feel like in a lot of friendships, especially with women, they lack boundaries. Like, it's like when we choose to share, all right, let's share. And then when we ask for opinion,
we'll
okay,
ask for
give
the
it.
opinion.
But it's like it's not always in a sense of like I need you to tell me about my man every time he do something that. And then
it's
I
not that,
also
because that
learned
plays
too,
trust too.
literally. And then I realized too, it's crazy. My mentor actually said it. She said it in the midst of a rehearsal. She was like, it's some stuff. It's basically we're talking about different types of emotions that you need to tap into in order to tell the story through your dancing, right? And I don't remember what the prompt was. It was long ago, but basically she started going on about there's some things that maybe you need to tell the story of what you and your dude are going through, but we don't need to know what that is. We don't need to know. It's some stuff that you'll never tell your homegirl that happened between you and your man, because if you tell her, the first thing she's gonna tell you to do is, oh, leave him, kick him to the curb, because not my friend, da 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 da.
Or certain reasonable friends will actually talk you through it, like, well, how did you feel through it, or how did he feel through it?
And it's like I've just learned, like, I have to keep some things not necessarily to myself, but just like understanding what and when I need to share, or what and when I should share, because it's like it's almost just like everything doesn't need to end in, oh girl, he ain't, and da 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 da.
That also
because
tells your friends too.
And then it's just like it just makes me feel like, dang, as my friend, you don't trust that I'm not toxic. You don't trust that I'm capable enough, and that my partner is capable enough to actually communicate and work through a situation and understand each other and respect each other. It's like making me feel like you as my friend don't trust my rationality. You don't trust my judgment. And it's like, I've just learned, like, if I really want like my relationships to thrive, like whether they be my romantic relationship or my friendships, there are boundaries that have to be set. Because it's like, I'm not ever going to be the friend that's going to tell my other friend, you need to break up with him or you need to stay with him. Like if my friend asks, if my friend were to ask me like, hey, I don't know what to do, and I don't understand, like what's your view on it? If you ask me, I'm gonna tell you, but I'm also gonna tell you this the first and only thing I'm gonna say about it, and I'm not gonna say nothing else about it, because from here on out, it's up to you. Because if you love that person and you keep going back, regardless of what they've done to you, that's your choice. And we're all adults, and you're gonna do what you're gonna do.
Absolutely.
That's
why I've been always saying like, and what I've been noticing with the person I'm, getting to know now, I'm loving the privacy. Because I've noticed in my last relationship, I used to tell certain people certain things, and I used to get stressed out because of their reactions to my own things. Compared to now that I've been healing and going through my own spiritual journey with God and everything, and not only this time is hugely different because one, we doing Bible study together, we doing things, stuff that is great because we're keeping God in the center of it. But it's also the privacy of not telling certain family members what we're doing, just enjoying each other's company.
Like, it feels like they in your bedroom at that point. Like,
yeah,
everybody doesn't need to be in our business.
Yeah.
Like, we're doing good. That's all you need to know.
Like,
and even if we're doing bad, you're not gonna know.
Exactly.
Because that's nobody else's business.
That's y'all business.
I just prefer to keep my relationship at this point, between me, my man, and God. And then, of course, I love to have a good little key with my homegirls, but it's like I said, having that level of discernment for what I want to share, and how much I think is appropriate to share. And I'm just learning, literally, like you said, I'm stressing out over their reaction to what I just said, because now I'm overthinking and I'm thinking like, have
you overthink more?
Exactly.
Because they're like, hey, should I be thinking like that?
Exactly.
Because I remember telling a family member something and they overreacted or did it like, little, no offense, we do ghetto ratchet moments. Yeah. And I'm just like, I ain't think of it like that. But when I talk to a more reasonable friend and actually, because that's how I could compare the difference. That's why they're my friends that I'm still with now as compared to the ones that I don't talk to anymore. Because I'm like, you rather for me to go back to something that I'm not, it's not good for me, compared to the friend that's telling me straight up, no, you were wrong in this moment. Because I used to ask, that's why I have a male and female friend, because I want to know sometimes if I go to my male friend, hey, tell me if I'm wrong, because I may not understand a male's reaction to something I just did. I might have not even realized, oh, dang, I did do that wrong. That's messed up. Because they real reasonable. They understandable. So that's why I'm like, okay, well, and that's why friends play a huge role in what you are doing nowadays and what you tell them, because that plays a part. Because you may be talking to them in confidence and then thinking they're not gonna say nothing or spill not a thing, and turn around and tell everybody in their mama.
Yo, like, why would you do that? Like, now I can't trust you. Now I would never tell you anything ever.
And that was a wall built,
like, literally.
And then with that wall being built, now I can't trust new friends that are actually good for me.
Yeah.
And that plays a role. And that same go with relationships. You be quick to tell a friend like, hey, I need a little advice on this, but keep it amongst us. And like, oh yeah, we'll keep it a hush, but now I just gave that key through to somebody else.
Literally.
So it's like, I thought we kept it a hush. What happened to that?
Yeah.
So it's really hard trusting.
Yeah. And it's honestly pretty crazy. Like, I didn't think anything was wrong with just venting to friends and venting to my homegirls for the longest time. Like, all throughout college, like, I had two friends, like, super, super close. And, I'll tell them everything. Like, tell them everything. And, as we've gotten older, and of course, we're not, right next to each other all the time. Like, we were all on campus and, all in the same major. So, we were with each other all the time. So it's like, of course, like, y'all already see everything that happens to me. So I'm just going to tell you everything else too.
Yeah.
But now it's like, we're not in that space anymore. Like, we don't really live that close to each other. We all have our own separate lives, jobs, and things like that. And I've learned after going through something with one of them that it's really best that I just keep my business to myself. In a conversation, I started to feel really uncomfortable one moment with them. Just like, they were, asking a bunch of questions, and, part of me tried to, like, I did answer, a few of the questions, and,
but you can just tell that energy.
It just, I just felt so uncomfortable, and for a while, I couldn't figure out why I felt uncomfortable, but I really sat with myself and I really thought about it, and I'm like, I'm uncomfortable because it's just simply not what I wanted to share, and I didn't feel,
and
I didn't understand what the purpose of sharing everything that they were asking
Mm-hmm.
was. It just, I don't know, it didn't seem right, and it didn't seem like it was coming from, you know, a bad place coming from her or anything. It definitely didn't seem like it was coming from a bad place, but it was just like, but why? Like,
Yeah.
it kind of felt like, you know how like when you have that job where it's like, oh, you know, you join the team and they're like, oh, we're not a team, we're a family. And it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
now your coworker Tina wanna roll herself over to your desk and start asking all your business. And it's like, girl, no.
Like, this ain't
I'm not
it.
about to tell you all of that. Like, you don't need to know all of that. Like, we good, we Gucci, everything's cool, copacetic.
Like,
You
stay
know?
over there.
Like,
Like, leave it
yeah,
there.
and not even in a rude way, not even in like a disrespectful way or anything. It's just like, I got boundaries. And it's like, you know, if I choose to share, it'll come up in conversation, you know, if it's meant to come up. But it's like, if I'm beating around the bush with the answer,
then clearly
I
they
don't want
meant
to
for
answer.
you. Yeah.
Like, that's the nice way of me trying not to answer. I'm beating around the bush. Move on. Like, let's drop it, you know? So,
yeah. Like, go about your business.
Literally.
I feel it. Hey guys, we wanted to take a quick little break just to do a quick shout out to TC's Art Gallery. That is T as in Tom, C as in Cat, S as in Sam Art Gallery. They do custom art, custom jewelry, and custom photos. They also help with your logo, updating your website, or if you need a website, and they help with social media advertisement or social media management. If you don't feel like dealing with your social media at all, contact TC's Art Gallery today. That is T as in Tom, C as in Cat, S as in Sam Art Gallery. And also check out their website at tcsartgalleryllc.square.site. All right, back to the show. So yeah, I feel like trust just comes in many different forms, especially whether it's family, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a relationship. It comes in all different shapes or forms. So I definitely feel you on that.
Yeah.
Now in the beginning, we had you choose a number between 1 through 7, and you chose 1 through 9. No, 1 through 10. Lord have mercy.
Numbers.
But
Math.
you chose 7. And number 7 is it's a game called First Three Words, and it's pretty much where I say a word and you gotta like list the first 3 words that come to mind. So for example, if I say like, what's the first 3 words when I say apple, and you just come up with the first 3. So it's kind of like that. So what's the first 3 words that come to mind when you hear the word yourself?
Yourself. Well, I'm not supposed to think about it. It's the first 3 words. See, this is my problem. I'm an overthinker. I would say the first 3 words when I hear yourself. Okay, genuinely, the first word that came to my mind was me, and I know that's
a word.
Okay.
There we go. We got
me. The second word that comes to mind, short. The third word that comes to mind is loud.
Okay, me, short, and loud. All right, there you go. That's what's up.
Yeah.
I know that was a very random word, but
it was. It threw me off. I thought it was gonna be like something like, I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know. I have no idea.
So we're gonna do one more. Let's see. What's the first 3 words that come to mind when you hear the word dedication?
Drive, willpower, discipline.
I feel that. Have any of those words been applied to you throughout your life?
Oh yes, a lot. Definitely all of them. As far as discipline has been applied in a lot of aspects of life, especially in my childhood. I lacked a lot of discipline across the board. I wasn't like a bad kid or anything. I was definitely a class clown. I don't know how to stop talking, talk a lot. I like to crack a joke. I love a key. I love a good key. So definitely didn't have no discipline in school. I did my work though, kind of sometimes. I did okay. When I got to, I'll say college and really just more so my adult life, it wasn't necessarily that I had to learn more discipline. It's really just that I had to apply it, because I've always been in spaces where that required me to be disciplined. So it's like it would force me to do the bare minimum.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older, I've really understood where and exactly how to apply the discipline so that it doesn't stress me out. Because I really
Mm-hmm.
feel like I lacked a lot of discipline growing up because I was stressed. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was constantly like panicking. I had anxiety really bad, depression at one point, and I was just really stressed. And so it's like, you know, my parents felt like, oh, well, you don't do your homework, you know, you get bad grades in school. And it's like, I feel like my brain is about to explode. Like,
Yeah.
can somebody just help me, please? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and now, you know, being able to take that into my own hands, I'm able to, you know, get help that I need, or you
Mm-hmm.
know, really being able to understand and address my emotions myself, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
knowing what they are, knowing what the signs are, and actually having methods to respond to it,
Yeah.
and tackle it early.
Mm-hmm.
So it's helping me stay focused. It's definitely helping me stay focused. As far as drive goes, what did I say? Drive, discipline, and willpower. Drive and willpower.
Strive.
Strive. Did I?
Yeah.
Did
Because
I?
you said dedication, you said strive.
Oh, I misspoke. I meant to say drive. Sorry.
You okay?
Same thing.
Yeah, do your thing.
But so with those two, really, I have always really applied them the most, especially now,
Mm-hmm.
in dance. I never really gave up. I definitely had a moment, for I say really during the pandemic. So it was at like maybe 2 years of my life,
Mm-hmm.
where I didn't stop dancing completely, but I kind of fell off. Like I didn't have any motivation. I didn't have any drive, and I didn't really,
Felt it.
I couldn't feel it anymore. And
Yeah.
I was really spent a long time trying to figure. I really spent a long time trying to figure out what it is that makes me do this, and what it is,
Mm-hmm.
what's the reason that I'm still doing it, and really learning how to fall in love with it again.
Yeah.
And it really all just cracked down to seeing the bigger picture of why I've done it for so long and why I can't stop doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'll watch a movie, I'll see something on TV, or I'll just see my favorite dancer up on a stage, and I'm so inspired. And it's just like I get that same feeling that I used to get as like a little girl sitting in church watching the praise dancers. Like
Yeah.
I get just bubbly in my stomach, and I just like I want to get up.
Really want
I
to,
want to get up and
yeah.
do it with them so bad, you know. So it's like that pushes me. And then you know the willpower part of it. Um, I'm learning to apply that in mainly rehearsal spaces, and
Mm-hmm.
just mentally having the willpower. I'm moving more into the professional industry now,
Mm-hmm.
and with that, you need a lot of willpower. You need to have tough skin. You really need to be able to, when your body is shutting down, your brain needs to be able to tell your body it's not time to shut down. We have to keep going for like 3 more hours.
Yeah.
So
Get it
tap in,
together. Yeah.
pull it up, get it together, and do the job. And it's like I said, it's not for it's
Not for
not
the
for the
weak.
weak.
Show
It's
not.
not for the weak at all. But I'm learning it's not a physical weakness.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that it's not for the physically weak. Like, yeah, it's definitely not for the physically weak, but it's not the physical part of it that matters. It's really the mental part of it. Yes, your
Yeah.
physical matters. You got to be strong, but mentally, if you're weak, you're going to crash and burn. And I've crashed and burned plenty of times to know what it looks like when it's happening, and what
Yeah.
it looks like before it's happening. So I'm learning now it takes a lot of willpower to tap in before you even get to the situation,
Mm-hmm.
so that when you're there, it's not overwhelming.
Yeah.
So
I feel you on that. No, how has it been? First off, where did you go to school at? Like college?
I went to Wayne State
Okay. What was
for
your major?
I majored in dance. It was cool.
Nice.
It was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely do have some mixed feelings about it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it was like, you know, not worth it or anything, because it's college. I feel like college is definitely a good experience. Like if you can go, you should definitely go. Like if you can go straight out of high school, you know, you got the scholarships or you can afford it, whatever it is,
Go
go.
for
It's
it.
a
Yeah.
wonderful experience, and it's I feel like somewhat of a smoother transition into adulthood. Because you don't have to go right into the workforce. Like, you know, like, yeah, there are some kids that have to, you know, get a little job, but mind you, that job still has to fit within the parameters of your classes and everything. So probably not gonna be working that many hours. And if you do, maybe it'll be at night. You know, maybe you can find you a good little gig on campus somewhere. So there's ways to work around it.
Because once they do got those, them campus
Girl,
jobs
listen,
be crazy.
I was working. I was a working girl. 3 job shawty at one point. So, you know, get at me. But it's, you know, I feel like it's definitely, and then it provides the perfect space for you to fuck up as hard as you possibly can and have little to no repercussions. Now, take that with a grain of salt, because definitely don't go do no illegal shit. Don't do nothing crazy that's gonna get you in jail, because that's too far. That is too far. But I feel like if there's ever gonna be a time in your life where you're gonna mess up your credit, okay. You're young, you can fix it. You have time, you can fix it, right? Or if you're gonna, you know, date the wrong people while you there in that space and while you're still young. So when you get out of that space and now we're dipping into the real world, you're really dipping your toe in to the uncles at the club, right? You know what you know what's not acceptable, and you understand your boundaries, you know, things like that. So it's like, I definitely think it's definitely a perfect, like, test ground, if you will, for experimenting and, you know, just learning yourself and learning what the world has to offer. So if you can go, you know.
Now, have you noticed a difference from the high school, like, dancing you versus college dancing you versus now as a hills dancer? Like, have you noticed a huge difference amongst them, or have you at least seen growth within yourself through that?
Definitely seen growth. Definitely seen a lot of growth. I don't know if I would say there's a huge difference, because as far as Leah the performer, because I feel like, you know, we got different versions of ourselves.
Absolutely.
As far as Leah the performer goes, I go just as hard now as I did then on a stage, on a performance.
Ain't never changed.
Anything. It's never changed. And it's just something like, it's almost something that's uncontrollable. And it's kind of scary, and it's kind of funny too to think about, because one of my mentors, she literally, and she uses me as an example all the time. And I hate when she does it, because it's funny, but it's like,
why?
I don't know how to feel about it sometimes, because it's like, why are you putting me on blast right now? And like, what are you really trying to say? So, you know, we'll be in rehearsal and she'll like use me as the example, like, you know, y'all really got to pull up, because, you know, it's just like Leah, for example, she's the type of dancer, she's the one that scares me. And I'm like, why? And she's just like, because y'all got to understand, she's probably not going to do it to her fullest extent in this rehearsal. It's going to be full out in rehearsal. But when she gets on the stage, she's going to turn it up like 25 notches. And it's like, to hear it, it's crazy. But then to actually see it back on videos, I'm like,
to acknowledge it.
Dang, I hit that pretty hard.
Because people, I love seeing when people notice or acknowledges your growth, or at least how hard you really are trying to do whatever that you're trying to accomplish. I feel like that goes a long way, for sure.
Literally. And then also too, I do feel like style wise, I've definitely grown a lot. When I was in high school, the only few styles that I had under my belt were modern dance, contemporary, a little bit of jazz, a little bit of ballet. So it wasn't anything crazy. I had a little bit of hip hop here and there, but it's like, I feel like that was kind of, it wasn't really training. It was kind of like one of those just, you know, I'm black, I got rhythm, you know, like kind of one of those, like I could catch on, like I'm sweet, I could hit something, but you know, I'm not
straight
excuse me, I ain't popping and locking. I ain't, you know, I wasn't doing all of that. But you know, it's like, girl, you know how it was at HFA. Like I was definitely running around them hallways, just dancing all day, every day.
I remember I had the name of it on the tip of my tongue, where we were in, it was an after school thing we all did, where we did poetry, dance, or singing. With Miss
Fleming,
yes,
with Poetry Club.
Yeah.
Or was it?
No,
It
we had
wasn't
a
Poetry Club.
name.
What was it called?
Because it was on the tip of my tongue and then it slipped.
Oh, it definitely wasn't Poetry Club.
Was it? It was
Hip Hop Club. It was Hip Hop Club, I think.
It was hip hop something.
Hip hop. What was it?
Couldn't remember.
Was it Hip Hop Club?
I remember writing it on something, but I couldn't remember what it was. I know it was hip hop for sure. That was the beginning, but it was another word at the end of that, and I can't remember it for nothing. Because I know we were in there. We all of us did poetry, singing.
I went in there to sing a couple times.
Oh,
I went in there to dance one time, and I just never did it again. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, cool, yeah, show it off, do what you gotta do, express yourself, but it's just not enough space up here. I'm hitting the board. I can't do it.
I'm telling you, we squeezed into that room so hard. It was crazy because
people
so many. Yeah, we were sitting on the floor, we were sitting on tables, we was up against the wall,
sitting on windowsills.
Oh my goodness!
And then it's just, I love that it was Miss Fleming's space too, because she's so dope. Like,
she's dope.
Anytime I see that lady, and it's crazy. Like, I used to see her a lot on campus actually, because she was attending Wayne State while I was attending Wayne State, and I was like, that's so cool. Like, I love running into her. Anytime I would see her, it's just Caitlin, and she definitely would get on me for calling her by her government name, by her first name. It's like, girl, I'm grown now. Your name is Caitlin. Hey, what's up?
Right.
What class you about to go to?
Like, oh my gosh, it feels so weird calling them by their first name.
They never felt weird
like,
to me.
I was
so quick to call anybody by their first name.
Oh my goodness. I just saw Miss McKenna the other day when I was at like a cafe or something. It was so cool seeing her.
Oh, girl, you know who I saw? Okay. What was her name? Miss Davis. So okay, I had to get an Uber for work one day, and I think because she does administration at the elementary schools and stuff. So I was like, oh, okay.
And I heard Mr. Masson is there now.
Yep. I be seeing it on his. I still got him on Snapchat, so I be seeing it on his little Snapchat story. So I was like, oh wow. I saw the profile on the Lyft app. I'm not gonna say her name, privacy. So we gonna call her Katie, right? So it said Katie, and I was like, oh my goodness. I know her. I can't think of her last name. It was Miss something. I got in the car, and I was like, hey girl. She was like, I know you.
Oh.
And I was like, yeah. She was like, oh no. Girl, I do know you. You was the dancing girl. I was like, yeah, that's me. So, yeah, I love her. She's dope.
I love running into old staff, like anybody from the Faye. I love running into.
Yeah.
I won't say anybody.
Definitely a pleasant high school experience.
Like, yeah, I love I swear, literally, once our class left, it was over. Like, it ain't even a play anymore. Literally. I was like, it ain't even it was so crazy how staff left with us because when we graduated, because it wasn't the same.
It wasn't the same, and then they were trying to make everything charter, and it's like then they did this combination with UPrep,
and now it's UPrep. No, we the Faye.
And I still hear stories to this day because there's this dancer, this young girl I know. I think she's a senior now. But she goes there and I'll see her little pictures and stuff. I'm like, girl, that's a Henry Ford Academy bathroom. You got her? Oh, okay. All right. You be dancing?
Thanks.
You want to cheer team? What you do? Oh, you just keep your dancing outside of school? Smart. You smart. Okay. Yeah. I should have did that.
But man, I swear I love that everybody that was there. I love how it felt like, I won't say family, but it felt like that's just that person.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but it's like I love the vibe of it. Where you came to school every day. The staff was dope. We all had great bonds.
And then just the space in general. Like walking around this space, like even when I came in here for that CPR class and the other location, it's just so comfortable, and it's like you can think freely. It's not rigid.
It's not like you in a box.
Like I went to so it's like I went to two polar opposite high schools, right? I started at Renaissance, then went to HFA. And it's like I never really fit in when I was,
because it's so broad.
It was so,
you always could get lost there.
Literally. And then it's like Renaissance wasn't really for me. Like it was just so, I guess you could say square, for lack of better terms. And when I say that, I mean to say like, it was very rigid, like on the line, right? And structurally, it definitely was a lot of work. It was a lot to keep up with. I got ADHD bad.
I
was struggling,
man,
real bad.
It's crazy because like I went to Renaissance just for a test. I think one of the state tests, I forgot. I went there. I'm like, I'm lost, and it's not even my school.
Yeah.
I was like, and then my stepbrother, he went there, and he was like, I get lost every day, and I've been here for years.
Now it's not too difficult to navigate because granted, it's just a big square, really. The most you might get lost is maybe on the second floor because it's like different wings and stuff in there, or maybe the first floor a little bit. If you're trying to find a specific like art type of classroom or something, or like something like that. But
I think what made me uncomfortable is the fact that each grade level was intertwined on each floor. It wasn't just like how HFA was, where it's 9th grade on this floor, 10th grade on that floor, 11, 12.
Literally.
I love the separation because that would have stressed me out.
And it avoided drama. It
Absolutely.
Avoided, commingling of ages. Because if I see another senior dating a freshman, I am so listen.
It was crazy.
And as an adult, like I always saw problems with it. Like if you're the freshman girl and you got a senior boyfriend and you sitting there talking about, no, but he loves me. And
sweetie, you ain't even
girl, you just turned 14 yesterday.
Yeah.
You just turned 14 yesterday. That boy is about to turn 18 years old. Ain't no way in hell you are telling me that your mother's okay with that. There is a problem here. I'm gonna just say it,
around about it.
I'm gonna be real with you. I personally don't really care how anybody feels about it. It's like it's weird to me, and it does look a little predatory to me. It's like, it's just, I don't know, that's odd. Like, it's like that baby just left middle school and you own it.
Fresh.
You own it. Like,
but I ain't gonna lie,
for 4 years.
But compared to, but I'm not gonna lie, nowadays, you really can't tell until they say something. And some of them be lying. And that's when the seniors that knows right, I remember going to a school dance when I went to HFA out in Dearborn. And I went there for the freshman year. And we went to school dance. And as soon as dude knew, like, it was because they had a mingle, like, group of all ages. And we had a school dance. And as soon as, like, some girls, like, was dancing, the guys, they had to ask. He was like, hold up, how old are you? Literally. Like, what age group? They'd be like, nope. Like, as soon as they knew the age, some bagged up, did the right thing, and went their own way. Other ones, they was like, hey, she here, let me just know.
And that's crazy.
And that's how you get set up for when you're an adult. But I feel like they do that because it's like, they know they leaving, they like, all right, I'm about to just leave you there. So it ain't no point in keeping the relationship.
And it's crazy
but
because
some don't.
I done seen so many girls get just drugged through the mud. Like, oh it's my crazy. Goodness. Just like, he loves me. And yes, I know he's going to Michigan State, but like, no shade, no tea to Michigan State. Like, all love.
We just doing stories.
Just need a little filler. Oh my God, yes, I know he's going off to college, like, but he loves me. He's not gonna cheat on me. And yeah, of course we're gonna do it before he leaves. And next thing you know, boom, now he in college. He's sowing his oats. He doesn't care. He does not care. And he might come home and still say I love you, all of that. He might still like you. But he's a blooming young man now.
And speaking on that, it's crazy because I do not like finding a male person, like, I wouldn't say a person, but a male that only sees me as a body count. It's like, stay away from me.
And that's insane.
That is
crazy. Huge red flag.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Because it doesn't come out until after a while. If you're a woman that's really about who you are as a woman and you know your values, you're gonna instantly pull it out because they're gonna show their true colors eventually. And some of them, it does take a little bit more time. Like, I found out some stuff I didn't even know from my past that realized that, oh, you actually see me as another body count at first. And then once you got to know me and see me as who I am, now it's different. Like, no. Okay, I see how it is. And I just don't like that. I said, it's crazy how I only have one male friend, which is fine now, because when I realized, I was like, that's cool because he's a genuine friend compared to going out and about and just meeting new male people. And they're just like, oh, you only see me as a sex symbol. You don't see me for who I am. You don't see me as Nae. You don't see me as that girl. You see me as, oh, she look good. I can smash.
Yeah. And it's definitely becoming so much easier to just see that. Yeah. See that before.
Yeah.
But it's just,
and it's crazy. Even if you're covered up, even if you're modest, dressed modest, and you like I've dressed way more modest because I'm like, I'm not trying to give off that image of that type of girl. Because no. So I'm like, it's crazy. It's but also in the beginning, you pulled out of our fishbowl and you pulled education. So what's the first thing that came to mind, or that comes to mind? I mean, that you know, when it comes to education, like either how important is, matter of fact, no, scratch that. How important is education to you?
Well, education is very important. First and foremost, I feel like our education system needs a lot of help. It needs a lot of help.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely for this generation coming up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I'm very fearful. I do think about it a lot, honestly, that dang, when I get old, it's gonna be Gen Alpha
Mm-hmm.
that's running the country. And that generation is really worrying me the most because of how millennials now or Gen Z, whatever, is raising them. Um, there's a lot of tablet kids out here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of kids running around with pacifiers that are way too big to have pacifiers.
Yeah.
There are kids that are 3, 4 that can't talk, can't walk. And it honestly makes me sad. It makes me very sad to see. And even more so that I am a teacher, and sometimes just witnessing things like this firsthand, it concerns me. And first, before everything else, I am a dancer. I'm an entertainer. Um, that's my goal. Like
Yeah.
that's where I want to be. But I'm still where I'm at because of my kids. Like I love those kids so much, and I don't want anybody else to fail them. I don't want anybody else to. I don't want my stepping away to just be there. Ooh, now we dangling, and it's not their fault. And then or if we get into like public schools, for example, having the resources for them and the proper resources for them. So like for kids with special needs, like are there enough resources for them? That really worries me a lot, because it's just like, well, if we can't help the baby now, what are we just gonna do? Leave them until they're 20 years old to figure it out for themselves?
And they
That's
still
not
not gonna be
fair.
able to.
It's not fair at all.
Yeah.
You're like, I just like, what's the point in saying, oh, well, every child needs a village, and raise them up right if you're not gonna do right.
Yeah.
If you're not gonna do right by the kid, like, yes, take your kid to school.
Yeah.
Take your kid to school, even if it's just preschool. That baby needs to be in school.
Because there's so much stuff that they can learn from
especially
school. And then
in these years.
They can build. They can build social cues.
Literally social skills. You learn. See, I'm gonna stress the importance of preschool and just early childhood development to any parent. I don't care. I'm gonna stress it to you because their brains are developing so fast at these young ages. That's when they're learning how to be people. They're learning what it means to be a person.
They're sponges.
Right? They're sponges to everything. So just like if you keep your baby at little Pookie and Ray Ray house and everybody in there cussing and dancing a sexy red, now that's what that baby is doing in kindergarten.
Yeah.
And now you're getting calls about her and her behavior. And now you're mad at her, but she learned it from you. It's like we have to take accountability and we have to understand what it is that we're teaching these kids because they learn everything. So on the plus side of that, since they soak everything in so quickly, they need to be in school right now because a lot of parents will take their kids straight to kindergarten and won't do not a lick of school, not a lick of learning until they get to kindergarten and think, oh, well, this is where it starts.
Yeah.
No, it's already started. Majority of that classroom has already been doing this. They already know how to write their name. They learned that in preschool. They already know how to count to 20 at this point.
Yeah.
They already know their ABCs. They know capital letters and lowercase. They know all of that at this point. They might know how to spell their name. They probably know how to tie their shoes. They probably know how to zip up their coat at this point. And now your 5-year-old is the one that's delayed.
Yeah.
And now you're mad at the teacher. And that's the part that I really don't like about it. A lot of parents that turn around and, they'll get
Flip
mad
the
at the
script.
teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be like, oh, well, how come? Because, kindergarten, that's when going to start getting grades, Oh, well, how come he got unsatisfactory? Well, ma'am, your child is having a really hard time sitting for longer periods of time, so he doesn't take in a lot of the information. Or, ma'am, your child doesn't want to do the work, simply.
Mm-hmm.
They're not used to this environment.
Yeah.
However, it's 25 kids in this class. That teacher is alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's only so much that they can do.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that, circles back around to the system being messed up.
Mm-hmm.
That teacher needs help. That teacher needs an aid.
Yeah. It's messed up. Yeah.
And you look towards, directors, you look towards principals, you ask them why, sometimes it's a budget issue,
Mm-hmm. It's so many things.
It's so many things. It's just so many holes, but they all cycle back around. But it's, I say all that to say it's like education is important, and we really need to focus more of our efforts onto that.
Absolutely.
Because we're failing this generation right now.
Yeah.
And I hate to see it every day. Like I constantly hit unfollow on my timeline because it's just I can't bear to watch a lot of it anymore. It's just it hurts to see. It's like, what's wrong? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
These are the ones that we're expecting to run the country. But when we get old and we can't do it ourselves, we're gonna start belittling the new leaders of the world, the leaders of the country. No,
when we
it's
the
still
ones
your
that
fault
raised them.
because we raised them. It's our fault. We raised them. Yeah, when they grow up, they can make their own free will, their own free choices. But who shaped their brains?
Mm-hmm.
Who shaped their brains?
Who molded them?
Who molded them?
Yeah.
So if we're really going to be a village, we got to be a village. We have to raise these kids up right. Yeah. Even if you're just the teacher, even if you're just the neighbor, you're just the principal. People think, oh, that's not my kid. That's not my responsibility. That's not a good mindset if you ask me. Am I going to spend all my days raising somebody else's child? No, I'm not. However, I do know that as a preschool teacher, I'm in that classroom 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for the most part. It's wintertime. Hours are up and down. But I'm in that classroom 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. I see that baby majority of the time. Majority of the days, they're with me, right? So what I'm doing in front of them matters. What I'm teaching them matters. The concerns I'm telling to mom and dad at the end of the day, hey, I'm not sure if you were aware, but I just wanted to make you aware. I wanted to address this concern with you. See how we can work together to figure it out. Simple.
Yeah, because y'all got to work as a team, not against each other.
Yeah. Has to be a team.
Before we close, do you have any questions?
Do I have any questions? Yeah, girl. Really. Oh, I'm sorry.
You good?
Excuse me. Asthma. Ooh, the weather in Detroit. Jesus. I really just want to know, like, really, what motivated you to start your podcast? Like, I've really been wondering, like, what motivated you to start?
I started. Well, it really just all came together last year. It started with me doing affirmations early in January/February of last year, or probably a little bit later, but it was the beginning of the last year. And I was just talking to God. I was like, I want to learn more of your children's stories. I want to know who I'm around. Like, because I always put the example of if I walk in a library and I come across a book with your name on it, what do I see? What's the first few pages? What's in these chapters? Who are you? Let me know who you are. Or another example, I say, if I'm walking down the street and I'm coming across a storefront with your name on it, what's on the outside? What's in the windowsill? Am I getting invited in? Okay, I'm going in. What's in the first few areas of the section that you just invited me in? Oh, it's a back door. What's in the back door? What's in the storage? What y'all got? It's like dissecting a little bit. And I was like, I just want to know. Like, I want to know, your story. Who are you? So ever since I thought of that and had that one-on-one with him, I after that, I kept getting asked, "Oh, when you gonna start your podcast?" Because I went to a podcasting event, or I was an event planner for, or event coordinator for a podcasting event, and people were asking, "Oh, when you gonna start your podcast?" And ever since then, I was like, "I guess let me give it a try." And then ever since I did season 1, wound up getting Google certified, and kept going from there. And
I
now we're in
love
season
that.
2.
Look at God.
Yeah.
Want to do it?
Okay.
Want to do it?
But yeah, ever since then, now I'm in season 2 and wound up overly booking by accident, and to where we got season 3 already.
I love that for you. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah. So I just do this really. I think the smartest thing that I've done is planning everything, because I already have 3 businesses besides my podcast. So
okay, come on, businesswoman. Period.
So besides that, I already have a really tight schedule, but that's why. And gladly, I'm my own boss because I can be able to stay flexible. So if it wasn't for that, Lord knows. So that's really that. So, but thank you so much for coming on. It's been really lit. It was good seeing you again. It's been so much forever. Are we having a part 2?
We can definitely do a part 2. Okay. We definitely can do a part 2. I'm down for it. I'm definitely down.
All right, for sure. Well, for everyone that's listening, make sure to check it out on look out for part 2, on our Patreon, and become a subscriber to get access to it, because it will be lots and it's not going to be for the public. So we're going to get into a deeper dive into what we said in this episode, and y'all can know more about Miss Lovely Brown over here. Yes. And also all of her information will be down below in the description if you love to follow her and in her journey and then some. Until next time, see ya. It's a wrap. It was great seeing you. We're so happy you joined us for this episode. Can't wait to see you next time. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And check out our information down below in the description. See you till next time. Bye.